Hey guys, in this video I'll be colouring a picture in Mythomorphia, but I'll be using all of my coloured pencils, so keep watching to see whether it's a mess or success.
Okay, so I thought it would be a cool idea for me to put a grid over the entire page with an HB pencil using a ruler. And once I'd done that, I thought, I'll use a different colour in each grid. So then the grid was 10 by 10, so that's 100, and then I thought that I'd use one or two colours in each square, but as I started colouring I realised that some of the squares needed more than just two colours. I couldn't get away with using only two colours in every square, so I needed more pencils if I was going to go with that method. So I started out just using my Prismacolors, but if I was to do it again I would have mixed my Polychromos blues in with those blues, because you'll see when I get to the Polychromos they don't cover quite as nicely, as quickly. So yeah, if I was to do that again I would mix them all in, and then once I had coloured with one pencil I'd put it over to the side and had a big box, so I didn't get confused which colours I'd already used, what colours I hadn't used. I'd stored them all on the right hand side and then I was putting them on the left hand side, so I had a bit of a process going on. But it was quite cool getting to use every one of my colours and seeing how they actually come out, because I don't think I've used all of them before other than when I've made a colour chart in the past, so it's quite crazy how different they can look in the pencil to on paper. So yeah, I didn't really have any rules for this challenge other than just I had started out thinking I'd only use each colour once, and then once I'd put it down that was the end of that. But when it came to colouring the rest of it I just didn't have enough colours to be able to do that. So once I'd used all the colours once I went back in and grabbed which ones I needed, but I still used that grid pattern. I thought it was quite cool. I think I might do a background like this again, except yeah, I would have mixed all those purples and blues together, or if I was going to do this in a real picture I would have just repeated some of the blues, just made sure that they weren't right next to each other. And that's another thing, if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, this isn't my normal standard of colouring, so I recommend you go and check out some of my others. Normally I spend a bit more time and care on these pictures. You might notice that I make a few mistakes here and there colouring outside the square and forgetting some of the bits, but it was a really fun challenge in the end. Just I wasn't really having to think other than, right, I'll use my blues, I'll use my purples, I'll use my pinks, and use my browns, greens, and just grabbing whatever colour came out and putting it down on the page, which you'll see in a few places doesn't make the prettiest picture, but so I have 4 different types of pencils. I think I've got my biggest set is my Prismacolors, and then I've got a set of, I think I have about 55 Polychromos pencils, which are my favourite, and then I have a set of Lyra pencils, which are the big chunky ones you'll see me using occasionally, and I have a few Derwent drawing pencils mixed in there as well, just when I couldn't get the Polychromos in the colour that I wanted, or I think there's some metallic pencils in there as well. So I have 223 pencils in total, and yeah, let me know what you think about my idea for using a grid to get them all on the page. I had thought originally maybe I could just use them and do one leaf one colour and one mushroom one colour, but then I was a bit worried that I'd get to the end of the picture and I wouldn't have used all the colours, so I thought that it was quite a methodical way of getting all of the pencils on the page, and it's definitely something I've never tried before, so I wasn't too fussed about this picture, and I thought, oh, I'll try that on there, we'll see how it turns out. And yeah, I was pretty happy with it, apart from some of these greens down here, and you'll see what happens later when I add orange in there. I feel like it ends up looking a wee bit like 70s and not very nice. But yeah, make sure to let me know what you think when you've seen the whole picture, whether you think that it's a mess or a success. And would you try this yourself at home? How would you go about it? Yeah, like I said before, I think it was quite a good idea, me putting all the pencils on my right and then putting them onto the left when I was finished. Just then I knew that I'd used them all and I hadn't missed any. But it did make a huge mess of my pencils. I had to spend probably a good 15-20 minutes organising them, because I usually like to have them all in their colour groups and looking all pretty. So then I thought I would do the mushroom on the top of this little guy's head red, and it's crazy, like some of the reds are really similar, like you can only just tell the difference when you see them all next to each other there. So, and I only have a handful of reds as well. I guess they can only do so much with them, and I probably actually categorised some of the like pinkier reds and with the pinks, and some of the brownier reds and with the browns, just because I needed more of them when I was colouring that space. And so yeah, then I turned some of the leaves like orange and yellow. It was quite difficult, like deciding where am I going to use each group of colours and where is there going to be enough space for me to use all of them. And then when it came to the little elf gnome dude, I don't know what you call him, I decided I would rub out the grids, because I only had my greys and blacks and whites left, and use them all on just him, so I could create a nice cohesive guy, so it sort of looked like he was sitting in a pixelated world. I don't know, sometimes I like to come up with like wee storylines for my pictures, you know, when they take a few hours, you kind of sit there and you think about it. So yeah, some of my pictures have crazy wee stories behind them, which probably only I get, but yeah. I thought it was quite cool, making him look grey in this colourful world. It sort of stands out a wee bit more when I've finished the rest of the picture, because I've still got that white down in the mushrooms and the stones in the bottom. But yeah, like I said, I went ahead and organised all the pencils and then just grabbed the colours that I wanted, but kept them in the grid formation. Also, if you've got this far in the video, let me know whether you like me doing the voiceovers or if you prefer I just shut my mouth and keep quiet. I don't know, I guess you can always use the mute button. People will probably wish they could do that on me in real life. Well, my husband anyway. So when it came to these mushrooms down the bottom, I thought, oh, I can't use red because it will be too, they won't stand out enough against that pinky red background down the bottom. So I used blue, and I thought they looked quite nice next to the green of the grass. But then I went ahead after this and coloured those rocks in orange, which was the biggest mistake of the whole picture. I wish I had just stopped and just coloured them in grey, because I'd already used all the colours at that point, and I just feel like, oh, I don't like this part of the picture. I should have, yeah, definitely just coloured it in grey. And then with mushrooms, I just went and used a beigey colour, and I think I used a really light baby blue as well. It looked quite cool. So let me know what you think. Is it a mess or a success? Will you try this yourself at home, or are you happy enough just watching me use all my colours? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye! Oh, I can't miss the card.